The first thing you have to do when developing a theme is figure out where it wants to go. You need to find its personality. Once you've got this figured out, the possibilities are endless. There have been many fantastic video essays created about the great music of the last century that are great places to start when developing a theme. For example, Nerd Writers on Howard Shaw and how he uses instrumentation to build on and totally manipulate the mood of the theme. Listening Ins on John Williams and how he uses music to make E.T. fly. And another one by Listening In on Bernard Hermann, who uses harmony and ambiguity to augment the horrors that are happening on screen and bring them to life. In addition to these, there have been some great videos about music of the last decade and are perfect examples of the points I'd like to raise in this video. In 8-Bit Music Theory's latest video, he talks about how Austin Wintory's themes are simple, yet sophisticated. They have a certain authenticity about them. They're down to earth and raw. Wintory chooses to leave the melodies in this form and very gradually evolve them as the character or story develops until the narrative climax of the game. So when you hear the theme in its full form, with its fully fleshed out orchestration and context, it feels truly like it's discovered what it really is. I think perhaps the reason why this is so impactful is because it's perfectly symbolic of our own personal development as people. We start off as simple human beings with little or no personality from birth, and then we slowly evolve across the most demanding and difficult journey, whilst making countless mistakes, learning, changing and struggling, eventually and ultimately realizing who we really are. It is this growth and struggle that provides us with so much meaning in life. As Joe Rogan says, one of the most fascinating lessons I've absorbed about life is that the struggle is good. Which is why you should, as Professor Jordan Peterson says, be grateful in spite of your suffering. Wintory is able to augment this personal evolution through music so clearly, and it is what we should all aspire towards when writing music, in my humble opinion. His score for Journey is a great example of this. He starts his themes in their most pure, raw form. Then, he takes it through an hour's worth of development and struggle to its fully developed and most mature form as the player ventures up a mountain to transcend their current self and reach the end of the game. This is exactly how a theme should be developed, especially in a film or game where it's powerfully augmenting what's happening on screen, which quite often is literally personal growth of a character. There are some common techniques that can help you with your thematic development, and they're impeccably well studied and understood. They've been talked about and used by all the great composers. For instance, the 20th century serialist composer Arnold Schoenberg listed a lot of these techniques in detail in his book Fundamentals of Musical Composition. Some of these techniques include inversion, diminution, augmentation, fragmentation, and retrograde. There is also a really great and cheap resource that is a 33-page thematic development pamphlet by the brilliant composer and a great friend of mine, J.J. Bethune, where he clearly lists, with a multitude of excellent examples, most of the best and well understood techniques. Having had all of this in mind whilst writing my own music, I'd like to show you how I have applied this philosophy and musical mastery from the last few centuries to my own music whilst writing for the game Alchemy of the Earth. This game is currently unreleased at the time of making this video, so hopefully it'll be easier for you to see the thematic development after playing through the story in the future. To start with, I needed to come up with a theme. I was tasked with creating an opening piece that had themes of nostalgia and mysticism, but it also was able to represent the environment that the player is in. A large, old-growth forest with lots of streams and rivers, and a vast grassland meadow with an array of beautiful wildflowers. I started the theme on the tonic note and used a triplet figure to maneuver around the 9th and 7th of the chord, then from the 7th down a perfect 5th to the 3rd. Then moving on to the next phrase, I suspended the 3rd so that it transforms into the 7th of the chord, and then down to the 3rd of the chord to finish the phrase. A lot of this melodic writing was very intuitive, and so I wasn't thinking too hard about the interval choices, but I feel a sense of nostalgia and home from the root 3rd and 7th of a chord, so I based the melody off of these notes to try and transmit that emotion. I referenced this melody a lot throughout the game's soundtrack, for example in the track Dusk and in the Mountain, but the next time I developed it into a new melody was in the track Summit, the second mountain theme. I felt it was fitting for this piece as it is meant for when you reach the top of the mountain, which is the highest point in the game's map, and it feels like a true point of character development when you arrive. This theme is once again simple and starts on the 9th of the chord. I make use of rhythmic augmentation as a technique at this point and tried to stretch out what was the original theme to something more melancholic, impactful, and most importantly meditative. I wanted the theme to grow to be a calming meditative theme because of the nature of the summit. There is no one else there, very few creatures, very little activity, just yourself, your thoughts and the atmosphere, the perfect place to be focused on the present moment. The next time we hear this newly developed theme is at a scenic climax in the game. The character undergoes metamorphosis and turns into a bird, and for the first time you are free and can fly around the map. This theme seemed perfect, as the summit is the only other time you could get as high as a bird. So once again, I developed the theme into something new. A reverse, retrograde version of the melody plays in the oboe over a fast rhythmic accompaniment, and is answered by the trumpet, as it slowly morphs through some changes and embellishment in the horns and clarinets, until finally it is heard in full, fleshed out with its full orchestration high in the strings and flute. But just as the melody settles into this climatic melodic arc, it is interrupted before the second phrase begins by a full brass ensemble with an extended and more unified accompaniment similar to that at the start. Hi everyone, thanks so much for watching. This video has been an attempt to explain how through hard work, determination and studying the greats and their output in this world, you can achieve something far better than you could have ever done before, and I think that it really can boost the meaning and the impact that your music has. So once again, thank you so much for watching. I know that what I just said is true in my own music. I'm sure that it will be with yours if you try and apply these techniques of thematic development. So yeah, again, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and please do subscribe, hit that like button, it really helps me out, and consider ringing that bell so that you can be notified whenever one of these comes out. Hopefully it's going to be the first of many to come, and I can't wait to see you guys next time. Thank you.